Sorry for that break. Still on the news, Governor of...
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
There is never a dull moment of this dial.
But let's get on now to what is happening here in Nigeria.
In the southwest, we have 136, south 131, southeast 30. I'm not talking about the ones that died months ago. And Mr. President is busy traveling.
The foundation in this democratic era we're experiencing today, honestly, believe me, this person soiled it. At the time he was tearing his party card, I was very ashamed. He didn't notice that he was tearing himself.
How long will you keep on complaining?
We keep you informed, thrilled, and inspired.
I need to select. I like every kind of woman. But man, light skin does it for me. No, I'm not racist. That's what I'm saying. I could take anybody. You know what I'm saying?
We are your premium talk, news, and sports radio. Today, 95.1 FM. Don't touch that dial.
All right.
We've got to go. It's 11:31.
This is Today.
You deserve more from us.
From Great Talk.
Is it a celebrated feat that people should be dying? Don't we have government? I think that should be the focus and not who is behind it.
And then Chief Loveday.
What else do I say? Killing is killing.
For the attack.
News and entertainment programs.
News update on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. Good morning.
GOFFE.
This man knows that his face.
Now you do this guy thing.
Hi, I go do this kind of thing now.
You never know the best way.
Honey, now your brother.
Stay glued to this dial. Today 95.1 FM. And we will do the rest.
Excellent.
Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
My name is Ifeanyi. I'm calling you. Hello?
Yes, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
My name is William. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, relax from Port Harcourt. Go ahead.
Talk radio.
You have a right to say no, right? All right.
I'm calling from Yenipua.
Okay, thank you so much from Yenagua. We are the station that needs no introduction. Of course, you know, we give the best in news, sports.
You like football, right?
Entertainment, politics. In fact, call it talk. Yes, we know there's a lot you want to hear, and that is why we talk about everything.
Talk radio.
We're right before you. It's just a dial away. This is your number one premium talk radio. Today, 95.1 FM. Voice of the people.
Still your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM, the news update at 1. The federal government is making plans towards the recovery of... Oh, they call my line again now. Hello?
Hello?
What
is happening? I've not been getting that desired result on my advert placed on radio.
You said you wanted a good place to showcase your products now.
Yes. Someone told me about Today 95.1 FM and I said I should call.
Okay, just come to Today 95.1 FM. I beg, I read news now, thanks.
On my way.
Sorry for that break. Still on the news, Governor of...
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
For crying out loud, why do you leave me at this point in time? I really need it in my life now. I couldn't do a thing like that to me. What on earth did I do to this?
Suicide is a practice that is fast gaining dominance in Nigeria. Suicide is the intentional act of taking one's life. Within the first quarter of 2017 alone, many Nigerians have subscribed to suicide as a means to escaping depression, severe anxiety, acute stress, terminal diseases, lack of money, or hope for survival. mental disorder, or even a heartbreak. The World Health Organization revealed that no fewer than 1 million people die annually from suicide, which represents a global mortality rate of 16 people per 100,000, or 1 death in every 40 seconds. It is also a fact that approximately 10 to 20 million people attempt suicide every year. But is anything worth dying for? Suicide is a major public health concern, but it is preventable. Talk to someone when you feel depressed. You can also prevent others from a suicide attempt by contacting the Nigerian Suicide Prevention Initiative on 080-621-06493 or 080-921-06493. Choose to live today because life is beautiful. This message is powered by your premium talk radio, Today95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Peace is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth, education, technology can build up, thereby making people very prosperous and happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for. All around the world. It's what I pray for. For my
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us, it's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation on Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM, or join us on the number 0701-933-9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
This is today's hustle. One show that embodies objectivity. We raise the bar in examining the good, the bad, the sordid, everything that has to do with society.
In America, you buy a big house and you pay gradually for 30 years of your life. That is politics. In Nigeria, you carry out your salary and go and rent one room. Bad politics.
Everything that has to do with
You
society.
must negotiate. If we don't negotiate, when a man is pushed to the wall, he bounces back with double levels. We have been pushed to the wall.
The Hustle. Every weekday from
1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
on Today 95.1 FM.
You're welcome. Still your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. It's 18 minutes past 2 o'clock. I know you're eager, you're ready, and you're waiting to contribute on what we have to say. And we aren't going to disappoint. My name is Ifeimi Andrew, and this is the second half of the show. Today's Hustle on your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. So, yes, today marks the beginning of a new term for the old term or the old government. President Muhammadu Buhari would begin his second term today. He's already been sworn in, taken his oath, so officially the clock begins to tick. But many people are looking at what he did in his first term and are saying that some said he didn't do too well, others said he did. But I'll put this in front of us. 3 cardinal points were picked up. That was what his manifesto covered. Security, economy, and fight against corruption. How well did the president handle all of these 3? I'll let you talk about that, not me. But then I'll tell you this. The PDP have also come out to make certain statements. A lot of different groups have been saying different things. The president, in fact, himself has even said that poverty and insecurity in Nigeria is as a result of decades of neglect. Is what he said. So there was neglect, and he felt like that's what's responsible for the insecurity that we have and poverty in the country. Now, if you take that aside, the PDP has said that the first tenure of the president was marked with incompetence and failure, and they say it's the usual blame game of the president. That was what was played. I quote the PDP. It says, "It is for this reason that the PDP presented a presidential candidate," and that was building up to the elections. Yes, it's unfortunate that instead of accepting responsibility for the failures of his administration, Mr. President is looking for scapegoats where there are none. So they said. But if you look at democracy in the country and how far we've come, 1985, through a coup, IBB came into power, made several failed attempts to organize elections that would usher in a civilian rule, but eventually he managed to organize one that was in 1993, an election adjudged to be the fairest. It's the reason why we have June 12. He, however, could not complete the process of handing over to civilian president as his government arrested the results of the election midway. Eventually, the results were annulled, and then the military government clamped down on the acclaimed winner of the poll, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale MKO Abiola. Following pressures from Nigeria and international communities on August 27, to be exact, 1993, IBB decided to quit. It then put together an interim national government and handed over to Chief Ernest Shonekan as the leader of the ING, which is the interim national government. It's kind of like what we're having happen now in, what's the country again, where they ousted the military ruler. Is this Sudan? I think it's in Sudan. He left Abacha behind and designated him Chief Defense Secretary in the cabinet. Anyways, this is how it goes. I'll try to shorten the story. Abacha died on June 8, 1998 after the prayers. Following his death, General Abdulsalami Abubakar took over the reins of power. But unlike Abacha and IBB, he left no doubt as to his commitment to hand over to a civilian government in no distant time. And that he did. He commenced the transition program that led to the registration of 3 political parties: the People's Democratic Party, PDP, All People's Party, APP, and Alliance for Democracy, AD. And if you ask me, weren't we better off with just 3 political parties? Well, as at February 27, 1999, Nigerians were able to cast their vote again in the presidential election for the first time since the 1993 military coup and the first elections of the Fourth Nigerian Republic. The election brought in Chief Olusegun Obasanjo off the PDP, and that was when the PDP reign started. This year, 2019, marks 20 years of democracy in Nigeria, and it is no longer so far in the history of the country's democratic experiences. For instance, the First Republic ran from October 1, 1960 to January 15, 1966. The Second Republic between October 1, 1979 and December 31, 1983. The Third Republic, a mixture of civil and military rule from 1991 to 1993. Instructively, while 2 of the 3 political parties are at the onset of the current democratic journey have transformed and metamorphosed into one single political party, which is also now known as APC, the PDP has maintained its identity. It hasn't changed yet. Although after they lost at the 2015 election, there's been a lot of talks with them rebranding themselves, changing their names or whatever that would come with it. But they've stayed with the PDP still. However, the party's dominance of the political landscape has continued to change with every election since 1999. For instance, after the 1999 constitution, the PDP led the table with 21 states. APP had 9 states and AD had 6 states. I think that's no longer the case. But after the 2003 elections, PDP increased its tally to 29. AD dropped 5, leaving it with 1. The APP, which had now become the APC, which transformed to All Nigeria People's Party at the time, was left with 6 in spite of the fact that it gained one of the big states in the north, Kanu, at that time. 2007, PDP increased again to 31. AD, which had metamorphosed into Action Congress of Nigeria, had 1. ANPP had 4. But after a series of litigations, the PDP lost Edo, Osun, Ekiti, Ondo, and Anambra State to ACN, which is the All Progressives Grand Alliance. In 2011, governorship election was held in 31 states. PDP won 24 states, leaving ANPP and ACN with 3 states respectively. And however, in the aftermath of the election petitions tribunal in 2010, ACN took over Ekiti, Osun, Ondo. It goes on and on. The move to dislodge the PDP began in 2003. At that time, Buhari had his first shot at the country's presidency. In 2007, which was Buhari's second attempt, it was an all-north affair. Umar Musa Yar'Adua was running with former President Goodluck Jonathan as his vice. They won that election in 2007. And then, if you look on and on, however, the PDP did... It was ACN at the time, Action, yes, ACN. It later became the APC. Less than a year after Jonathan's emergence in 2015, politicians began to realigning ahead of 2015, I beg your pardon, that was in 2011. So the major opposition parties in the country then all came together 2 clear years before the polls to form the APC. So they all came together, formed the APC with a view to forming a formidable front to do battle with the PDP. And yes, that battle was won by the APC, and that was how there was a change and the PDP was dislodged from power. So they were there for 16 years. With some PDP governors even joining in. This year, the PDP went into elections with 12 states. APC had 23 states. APGA had only 1. Governorship elections were held in 29 states. After the elections, APC, which retained the presidency, APC won 15 states. PDP won 14 states. But just last week, Zamfara, through litigation, fell to the PDP, making it 15-14 in favor of the PDP at the moment. But governorship elections did not hold in 7 states: Kogi, Osun, Edo, Ekiti, Bayelsa, Ondo, and Anambra states. Of the 7 states, APC have 5 states, while PDP and APGA have 1 respectively. The question now is, if you look at the 16 years of the PDP in power, with the brief history I just gave you and how they came and how we are where we are now, would you say that the PDP is right saying that the past 4 years was marked with incompetence and failure? Or would you agree with some people who have said that the PDP has no right whatsoever to comment on the progress or the government of the current administration? That's the key question. Bearing in mind that I've always said, is it about the party or the individuals? Because if we're saying that some parties should not get into power, other parties should, so would that be regardless of whoever the party is presenting to be their candidate? I also asked the question, Nigerians, the electorates, are we informed enough to make critical decisions like who should be our leader? That's another question that we need to ask ourselves. Many have said it's a blame game. Some people have said, well, the past must be talked about. So what do you think about this? We'll open the phone lines and get your contribution, because now the APC government is already starting its second term. And if it continues and all goes well to the end, it means the APC would be in government for 8 years. Would it be fair to compare at that time, or should comparisons be done now? At least if we're not comparing for 16 years, are we comparing the last administration of the PDP to this 4 years of the APC? And look at what has been done and what should be done better and what steps the electorates, Nigerians, should take planning for 2023. Let's hear what your thoughts are. 081700000951. Hello. Hello?
Hello, Andrew.
Yeah,
yes,
you're welcome.
Andrew, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Yes, I'm Temple from Port Harcourt.
All right, Temple, go ahead.
Yes, I agree with PDP statement, because I cannot see the reason why somebody who came to make a change that we are going to buy fuel. The rate of 15 naira. We are going to have steady power supply, good education, and the good health care. We are going to see new refinery. But today, we see nothing, no achievement. Only thing we have been hearing is a recovering loot, blame claims. Somebody used 4 years and blame government. You know, in our community, when we have a new government, youth, when we have new youth leadership, everything change. We did well in our own in our own tenor. All those criminals, all those boys that smoking, we capture all of them. Village was calm. Everywhere there is peace. Assuming that we have access in federal power or this federal resources, we could have do better. But how much more a country, a president, a government that has access in resources, they only blame us government. Only thing they achieve blaming. So this system minus 5 now how many days remain? They have not achieved one thing. So I believe that that one day God will just see PDP. You know watch all these things that PDP
Thank you.
have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another question is: people feel like the PDP will be the next alternative. Must it really be? At least we have more than 2 political parties in the country, and we have a lot of politicians. So what is the real problem? Why aren't Nigerians, even the electorates, looking at, okay, we have tried this one for 16 years, we have tried this one for, counting towards 8 years. If that happens, why not we try somebody else if we need to? Again, another platform or another individual that's new to the public space, because it's almost like we're having a rotation in the country with the leaders that we'll have, except perhaps we'll look at maybe the past administration, we'll say is one that's not been actively involved from the onset in the country with regards to the national politics. But aside that, that's former President Goodluck Jonathan. I think every other president we've had have always had something to do during the military era, and they still rotate and come back. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Andrew, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What is my name? I am Kaikoba.
Okay.
Please let me correct something I said previously. When I said God forbid, I said God forbid, and I gave conditions: metamorphosis, injection of new faces, and apologizing to Nigerians. So let that be bygone. Now, do you know why people study history, especially in the advanced, in better society? Either political history, either economic history, or cultural history. So not to make the mistake of the previous, of the past. Look, when the president said about that the past is something for our present, he's absolutely right. As a young man in the early 80s, late 70s and early 80s, I wrote a book in which the problems of today was itemized. Unfortunately, I gave it to 4 dimensions. They rejected it because it was futuristic. In that book, I pinpointed these current problems Nigerians are facing. It's the building of the Second Republic. Tragedy of Second Republic started again. And in 1999, it came up again. Nigerians were misguided. Nigerians were deceived. Nigerians were mesmerized. Do you know that at a point, we started assessing our economy by the price of bag of rice? Which country on earth can assess the performance of the economy with the price of bag of rice? PDP deceived Nigerians. They wasted our money, they wasted our years. And what this current administration is doing is to return us to the line of sanity. They want to the disguised life of our past, consumerism. Toothpaste, import, rice, or subsidized.
You said something about a bag of rice, and that should not measure the economy. Are you aware that sometime, even in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to get the exact country, a price of bread went up, and there was a protest, and there was fear because the price of bread went up. So, because for me, I've always been of the opinion that development, it's not what we see on paper. It should be what the people would say with regards to what they feel when they go to the market. That's what you would define for them. That's what they would define development as, or improvement in economy. Don't you agree?
Andrew, increase in price of bread and sack of protest instantaneously. But on the overall, cumulatively, you can't increase the price of bread to judge the economic performance of the nation. There are more consolidated factors. You use housing, you use infrastructures, you use education, you use
So you would say that in the past administration of the PDP, these infrastructures were not there, right?
No. They said no.
Because the president said that there's been huge infrastructural decay. So if we're going by your policy or your calculation, it means that how was the price of commodities low when the economy itself was not reflecting what it should, going by your calculation, when there's a decay in infrastructure and some other things that should be used to measure economic improvement?
Andrew, remember I talked about deflation and mesmerism. We were being deceived. We were being fed with bread, cheap rice, cheap toothpicks, and the rest of the vehicles, SUV vehicles everywhere. Nigerians were believing that things were right. But our railway lines were good, growth were going down, hospitals were going down, institutions were going down. It is now that Nigerians were really faced with the realities of what happened in the past.
Okay.
So my opinion is that let us not compare 4 years of PDP or APC with 15 years. You know the ratio, 4:1. We think people have to be given some time to perform. It's not when they're just starting from the cradle, but everybody is starting PDP. That is not going to start their marriage. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. All right, we lost that call. Remember, you can send messages to 0701-933-9962. That's the SMS portal. If you want to call us, use the phone lines 0810-9510-951. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
You're welcome.
You said that Jeff from Oyibo.
Okay.
See, all this rattling about PDP, APC, honestly speaking, sometimes I got ashamed of Nigerians. Do you know that the majority, 90% of these people who are calling, saying PDP do this, all of them, the PDP. Let me tell you.
Let's forget about the people and talk about the issue. Hello.
Why I am making this comment is the rate that under this government now, that so many people are blatant, so many terrible things have happened, so many people have lost their lives, and somebody would open his mouth and say this administration is far better than PDP administration. What's the difference between the PDP and this one? Most of them just swapped. I'm telling you. Let me tell you, the reason of the so-called PDP, I don't belong to any political party. I'm nothing with left or head to join any political party. That is nonsense to me. Now, during the PDP administration, many people were working. Most of us our work was moving fine. These people came in with so much bogus promise they could not be able to fulfill anyone. Let me tell you, let's just take a stroll to downtown. And the PDP administration was on board. My father, this job there. 247, you see people keep on coming in. Well, since this will came up on board, nothing is happening. Beautiful applicant. Let me tell you, majority of these people calling you are just benefit. They are just giving them figures for the case, and that's why they are making all this noise. That man has called you before when you were 2 o'clock. feel that you engage nonsense. I really cherish what that man said. Try to power of them so that at least we can argue one-on-one. Oh, this is nonsense. It's a member of the before, but they are just stuck. I mean, this is what I normally call 247.
I've said earlier on that you don't know. Let's leave the people who contribute on the show, because any other person can call and also comment on you as an individual and say that you are one party or the other. We don't want to know about. That's not our business. Even if you are or you're not, that's your business. What we're saying is contribute to the matter we are discussing, and not individuals who contribute on the show. Please.
I'm not actually good.
We don't want to know if you're a card-carrying member of any political party or not. It's not our business, and we don't want to know. What we want from you is your opinion on issues that we have raised.
I know some of them. So when they come up,
right, thank you very much. You're still not hidden to the instruction. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Yes. Greetings.
Lawson, you're welcome. How is Yenegua?
Yenagua is fine. It's raining right now. It's raining seriously.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it's raining, but we don't have any swearing in here. So, yeah, it's pretty sober. We'll have to wait until February. Yes. Do you know that, Andrew? PDP even came and apologized to Nigerians for the 16 years of misrule. It was so bad that they apologized publicly to Nigerians. You to tell you that I don't know why they are coming to make a lot of statements. Under them, look at the amount of corruption. Look at what Buhari has brought. Look at the TSA, the Treasury Single Account.
But that started from the PDP administration too.
Never implemented it.
It started from there.
Yes, no, they didn't have the will. They brought it, but did not use it. Buhari came and used it. Look at how much it is wrecking in.
So don't you think it's fair to also give credit to whoever conceived the idea and who is using it?
No, Andrew, wait. You conceived the idea but could not see it. Because why? You are afraid. A lot of people will be affected. Do you know right now that all these revenue officers you see in Nigeria that look very wealthy, right now they don't touch money. It's paperwork they do. Paperwork. He brought the BVN. Look at, you know, it was through BVN that the former CJN, those is sundry accounts were discovered. Look at even the executive order 6.
But the BVN was also introduced from the past administration.
That is what I am telling you. Who implemented it? Who implemented BVN?
The BVN was already working from the past administration.
No.
I did my BVN then, so I don't know why you're saying no. I did my BVN then.
The BVN came in, was fully brought into effect by the same government.
Okay.
Look at the executive order 6. What else are you going to? How do you fight corruption? Executive order 6. In fact, the British the ambassador, the British ambassador, everything. You understand? Now that is corruption. The economy that we are talking about. When the president came, how was Nigeria economy? Nigeria production was how much? We depend on crude oil alone. Even with that, he managed to say today the economy is growing at over 2%. GDP is over 2%. You are not saying that. I've not even heard you say it. You understand? I've not heard you say it. Now, apart from that, look at rice. Nigeria, right now, has even overtaken. We are the highest producer of rice in Africa. You understand? In Africa, farmers came out of this country to celebrate grain sufficiency. It does not a solid mineral. It doing a lot of things. Now, this is at a time where the economy was very bad. When people say APC is PDP members, and let me tell you, APC was formed with ACN at that time, EPC, part of ANCP, you understand, and PDP, part of the PDP group has already left with Salati. You understand? The difference between the APC right now and the one then at that is Buhari. Buhari is the difference. You understand? It's a man. Can you imagine? Look at, I keep saying it, between 2011 and 2014, from our revenue, Nigeria got $393 billion US. taken away by the school.
All right, Lawson.
So what I am saying is that this very government, you cannot compare at all. If Buhari has not come, I am telling you, if he had not come the time he did, Nigeria would have collapsed.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Lawson. Thank you, Lawson. We have to let you go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lawson, thank you very much. Hello to the 95.1 FM. What's that one? The lines are very open. We'll be taking your SMSs shortly as well, but then you can keep your calls coming in 0810-9510-951 or 081700000951. Hello to the 95.1 FM.
Hello.
Hello, you're welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name?
I'm Somina calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, Somina, go ahead.
You know, so many people are calling, sharing their views concerning APC and PDP. Which one is the best? Which one will be better than? I know you yourself, you know the truth. People are suffering. APC have promised us a lot and they have failed us. Tell them to go back home and rest before all the Nigerians will die. Please, I don't want to say anything, but the truth is that they have failed us. They have given us empty promises, promise that has never worked. They should go back home. At least they have eaten enough for these how many years. By 2023, I know PDP will take up power. I'm Somina calling from Port Harcourt. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Hello to the 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Hello, Andrew.
Yes, you're welcome. Good afternoon.
Yes, this is IB.
Okay, IB.
Thank you. I don't know why people want to compare PDP with APC. Please, there's something is obvious. When you dump corruption fight, it is the PDP that fought corruption. Mena was prosecuted by the PDP. Joseph Dariye was prosecuted by PDP. See, there was a catch with that person. This is the corruption fight. The finance minister tell me that you brought out of the country or society as you prosecuted. You see not this APC.
Hello. We can barely hear what you're saying. I think you'd have to, maybe change your location and call us back because the network, I think it's from your end. There's an interference. Hello, good evening. Good afternoon, I beg your pardon. Hello.
Good
afternoon to you. Your name, please?
So calling for Roma Holly.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know that whether some people are living under the rock or under the cliff where they don't know hear the information. They are misinforming the public. And somebody come out to the public radio and be telling people that
leave. I keep telling us, forget about what somebody else said. Somebody said something that you feel is not true. That's why you called. Go straight to your opinion and don't attack another person's opinion.
No, I don't think I heard this. But I should take the information to law, so it should not be controversial for everything.
I have said, don't antagonize another person's opinion or personality.
As for me, these days, last 4 years, people were jumping up, clapping, happy. Let me say 70% of Nigerians, this time of last year, they were happy. Last 4 years, they were happy. That we are having a changing of the government, that we are going to see what the new government will bring to the table. But as I'm speaking to you now, right now and this hour, people are crying. 99% of Nigerians are crying now. How are we going to face this kind of a thing in the next 4 years? Nigerians are sorrowful. If at all we started from today, we will go to wear black and be moving on the street. How can this government be swearing in again for another 4 years? Where are we? Where is our faith? Where are we going to again? Another level? Which level are we going to? Rest my comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon. What's that call? But then let's know what you think. The lines are still open. Call us up and share your thoughts. And I have something to say. Something just occurred to me because a lot of us have said that For instance, our only resource that runs the economy, or the resource that runs the Nigerian economy, is oil. And I say, if you're in a position to rule, and you know that this is the only resource that the country has been on, which is not supposed to be, because there's a lot of other resources, how are we trying to see that, okay, this is the only resource we've been running on, and they are beginning to have issues on this resource? There are other resources that is yielding a lot of profit for other countries around the world that we have. How much have we thought in the direction of harnessing those resources so that we do not become dependent on the one we usually have been dependent on, which is oil, and see that we maximize profit from that one to also help grow our economy? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you're welcome.
Today 95.1 FM.
Yes, my name is Andrew. What's your name?
Okay, trouble no one, calling you from LMA.
Go ahead.
I want to react to the statement related to PDP. PDP for 16 years in power. No, they cannot give us common good rule in Nigeria. We cannot boast of good education for that 16 years. We cannot even an economy or something else. For PDP, 16 years, all we have from them was 3,000 megawatts. All the billions of dollars spent on power. But I'm surprised. 4 years today, they are crying wolf. They have all the time. A time they were ruling, oil was booming. They cannot even account for the money our crude oil was sold for. And the rest of them. But today, why are they crying? Why is it that when somebody was in power yesterday, she will fail to see the good things they're supposed to do, but when they step out, they begin to see all the gold and silver should have fixed from southeast, southwest, north central, and southwest. Why is it like that? They should blame themselves. They should blame Obasanjo, blame Goodluck, who has all the time but could not make use of it, and leave APC alone. In the past 4 years today, our power has increased. Our road network in Nigeria has increased. Most railways are ongoing. And our economy, before the recession, we came out of it. The budget is going to be for like 3 years, but after a year later, we come out of it. The man is trying. He came into a hard time. They were pumping of pipelines and the rest of them. The economy will shake. PDP do it so that they will criticize the government. But by the grace of God, he has come out of it. He has continued again and he has won. It is our prayer. He has said that he will deal with the judiciary and deal with the police. The police have come from in this country, and it's not the judiciary. Praying that God should give you the strength to do so that Nigeria will be better for all of us. I pray that Nigeria economy will be good. I pray that Nigeria will be among the best countries in Africa and in the world. That as we led this nation in his past 4 years, that this coming 4 years since we start today, God will give him that grace to take us to greater heights. So PDP should cover that. You should cover that face with shame for 16 years in state Nigeria. And even Goodluck said it in this campaign 2014, when it started in November 2014 in Lagos, that the generation has failed Nigeria. So PDP should cover that face in shame. They have failed Nigeria in the 16 years. They should keep quiet and wait until if tomorrow they have the opportunity to rule Nigeria, then they can showcase what they have. But for now, they failed Nigeria in 16 years. They should keep quiet and shame on them as PDP. Because they failed us. If they let good explanation, we should have a face to do right by Nigerians. Even if you condemn that the former decision led by Goodluck was doing was encouraging corruption and the rest of them. But today they're making a head of noise. It's painful because they keep us in the corruption where we are today. They keep us where we are as a country today. It's very painful. They have a lot of people in Nigeria. It's not apologize. They wake up every day and say in the past 4 years they have done nothing.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution there. We have to let you go. Let's go straight to our SMS portal now. We're going to take a few of your messages and hear what you have to say. All right. Bolu would be helping us out with the text messages. Remember that you can send more messages to 0701 933 9962. That's our SMS portal. Bolu.
Okay, this one says, the Lawson you are protecting from criticism, is he not controversial? Please ask Lawson what he does for a living. He's paid to peanut to be calling. I don't think I should read this
Let's skip that. Let's move on.
Yes. This one says insecurities, hardship is all over the country, and everybody, most especially Rivers indigents, blame Mr. President. But in our various local governments, states, even communities, we the people see these things happening around us due to sentiments, hatred of other tribal groups and ethnic groups that has brought out hate speeches. People agitate for sovereignty because of hatred. What about the chief security of our state, our local government chairman? Are they not failures or are they not equal? That is Peter from Omuogba. Then Kelly from PH says, good afternoon, Andrew. We are not ready for new parties. Did you not see the thug-like display of the aspirants during the elections? For whose benefit is the present administration working for? We should stop praising futility and help ourselves. And this one says, good afternoon, Andrew. Obasanjo in 2003 transformed the telecommunication industry to what you and I have today. Yaradua solved the electricity problem in the Niger Delta, and Jake stabilized the price of food, goods, and services and jobs. But PMB's corruption, economy, and security achievements are all on paper, not in reality. From Michael. And this one says, Andrew, PDP has no place in Nigeria again. They destroyed Papa, Mama, and Pekin. I am Umbata from Kalagbo. And, okay, this one says, happy monarchical plutocracy day, Andrew. I am Franco-confident. The fight against corruption is defeated by corruption itself. Insecurity is higher than ever, and in the economy, Nigeria is now the world headquarters of poverty. The only thing that changed is we now have 16 years of PDP misrule and 4 years of APC waste. And this last one says, good afternoon, Andrew. Any government who is dwelling in the past, blaming this and that, is incompetent and is a total failure. Peace from Rupoku. Those are the messages they have.
All right, let's see if we can take one more call before we go. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
So, Andrew, good afternoon. Once again, I called back.
Okay.
See, this issue of PDP do not do this, APs are doing it. Like, just like you asked one of the callers. I did my DVN during the time of PDP. They are the people that brought this idea. Do you know that this is club? This money that is being refunded. Do you know it was that this money was done? You know the system. This thing was actually conceived and it was good well that I initiated that this thing. It is now the money mature for them to disburse it back to the state. And somebody is saying that the PDP never. Look, for me, I don't belong to it. And I hate this situation where that's also come on here and magnify the current administration that have brought it, that have impoverished people.
Yeah.
Nigeria is a poverty capital. And somebody will see the idea happening, telling us that ABC is doing fine at the government. I mean, it's sad. Now look at somebody was bold enough to tell you that the PDP achieved all this. Imagine that kind of nonsense. PDP got about 4,000. Now they came up with a total of getting 7,000, from 7,000 to 6,000, from 6,000. Currently, we don't even have up to 3,000 megawatts. And somebody will call and begin to, you people will allow the person, and the person will punish it as if it's a fact. People should come up with this particular party, they say that some people have messed up Nigeria. But because some people are getting from them, some people are feeding fat, they will never see anything wrong. It's quite unfortunate. But I believe that all of them will regret. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. All right, let's take more messages.
Okay, we have more messages. This one says, Andrew, it is an interesting suggestion that you invite Lawson and another of opposing opinion like Gift or the man who suggested it someday to come for a debate. Is suggesting that Gift and Lawson should come here for a debate.
Well, they would have to, they would write to us if they want to be a part of the show.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. This one says, Andrew, the killings alone in this APC time, it is not an achievement at all. So the APC government is worse than the PDP. And this one says, when PDP was ruling, maybe Nigeria was stagnant, but now APC is ruling and Nigeria is deteriorating to the inventor of poverty in the world. I prefer stagnation to deterioration. Andrew, when some people call and ask you, you understand 20 times in 2 minutes talking about PDP, you should please ask them which was the first party they had belonged to, from Mr. Law. And this one says, my leader, CRA, is going to be the next president of Nigeria come 2023. No man can stop it. I think that's the third time he's sending that message.
Okay, let's take one more message before we go back to the phone lines and wrap up on the show.
Okay. This one says, I challenge Lawson to an open debate on PDP 16 years and APC wasted 4 years. Please give us a chance.
Well, we'll see how Lawson reacts to that. Perhaps you guys will pick a venue and then you do your publicity. You can come pay us for the publicity. We'll do that for you.
Okay, we have a new one. It says, James from PH. It says, why do our brothers from Yenugua always forget that 3 or 4 letters of the people called saints in the APC were part and parcel of the PDP who wrecked Nigeria in those 16 years? So they are both corrupt and shameless, as he always insinuates.
Okay. But I would like to wrap up by saying, so far, so good. You've all shared your opinions. Like I always say, the true development for me has always been and will always be what the common man, how it affects the ordinary Nigerian who cannot understand all that's written on paper. But what they can understand is what they see when they go to the market. How much is this? What is that? And what is that? The infrastructure that they see, the improvement in power supply, free education, all of those stuff for them is what would tell whether or not any government did well or didn't. And then again, the politics of Nigeria is just recircling of the same people, same time. So why are the electorates helping to make distinctions? I've always said, are the electorates of Nigeria intelligent enough? Are they informed enough to make critical decisions like picking who should be their leader? Well, that's how we wrap it up on the show. Thank you very much. Enjoy your holidays. Tomorrow we'll do it again. Bolu, thank you very much for your assistance on the show. My name is Ifyemi Andrew. Stay tuned for the news update.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Board Harcourt. News update.
Good afternoon, and this is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Ifyemi Andrew. In its bid to strengthen Nigeria's electoral system, INEC has commenced a review of recommendations of 6 electoral reform committees' reports. The exercise, which comes 32 years after the first report was submitted, followed the fallouts of the 2019 general elections. According to INEC, the review of the committee's report will commence with that of the Babala King Commission of Inquiry into the Affairs of the Federal Electoral Commission, FEDECO, in 1986, the Uwais Report on Electoral Reform in 2008, the Lemu Committee on Post-Election Violence in 2011, and the Ken Amani Committee on Constitutional and Electoral Reform Report in 2017. The Commission hopes that the recommendations arising from the national conversation would lead to an enduring reform of the country's electoral system. And away from that, troops of the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army says it has intensified coordinated anti-illegal oil bunkering and sea piracy operations within the division's area of responsibility, thereby tightening the noose on economic saboteurs and sea pirates. The Army stated that during the operations of its troops around local government areas in Delta and Bayelsa states, as well as out of West and River State, troops made achievements. Acting Director of Army Public Relations Colonel Sage Musa, in a statement obtained by our news desk, says 10 suspects were arrested, while 2 motorcycles and 10 mobile phones were recovered in the course of their operation in Bayelsa State. Colonel Musa added that a total of 35 sting operations were conducted during the period under review, in which 65 illegal oil refineries were located and destroyed in Delta State, in addition to 150 cellophane bags, 120 drums, and 15 Cotonou boats containing illegally acquired products. The Nigerian Army also said troops patrolled the entire River State, including Abunima Wharf, Total Elf, Transamadi Layout, East-West Road, Alu, Mbodo Marine Base, Abuloma, and Makoba Nubiakwa local government area, among others, where criminals and saboteurs were denied freedom of action with a boost to Nigeria's economic fortunes. And now the controversy that resulted to separation of villages and clashes in Umwakuru community in Igbo Ichie in Ichie local government area of Rivers State appears to have been resolved following the intervention by traditional rulers, elders and opinion leaders in the area. As part of efforts to restore peace and unity in the large Umwakuru community, the people of Umwekwone, headed by the paramount ruler Eze Innocent Wonsu and other villages which have been crisis-ridden, were today reintegrated into the large community. Addressing the people at the community playground, the paramount ruler of Umwakuru town, Eze Joseph Odirionyema, said the move is in line with directives by the governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, that traditional rulers, chiefs and youth leaders should ensure peace in their various communities. The paramount ruler of Umwekune in Okoro Agu Umwakoro in Igbo Kingdom, Eze Innocent Wonsu, expressed joy over the integration of his people back to the large community and assured his readiness to work for the interest of peace and unity of the community. The youth president, Charles Wogu, and elder Emmanuel Layanuna, accused some elders of inciting some youths to cause trouble in the community and warned those involved in such act to desist or be ready to face the wrath of the community and security agencies. And similarly, the people of Ibaha community in Emoha local government area of Rivers State will now have peace without fear of killing, beheading and kidnapping that have sacked several inhabitants. This is because the leadership of the two warring cult groups have come together to sign a peace accord before the commander of the military personnel deployed to Ibaha and some stakeholders from the community. Our correspondent gathered that the two cult groups have also agreed to move together around the community on Sunday in company of security operatives as a sign of peace and unity in Ibaha. Leaders of the two cult groups urged anyone who may be aggrieved to sheath their sword and embrace peace, just as they called inhabitants who had fled the community to return to be part of the peace. Ibaha community have been the worst hit, with almost daily occurrence of violent attacks, while several people have been killed and beheaded there. Several inhabitants, including traditional rulers, owl holders, chiefs, and elders, fled the community following the incidents of cult clashes. And now on the foreign scene, Huawei's top legal officer has said that a U.S. move to put the firm on a trade blacklist sets a dangerous precedent that will harm billions of consumers. Speaking at a press conference, Sang Liuping said the trade ban would also directly harm American companies and affect jobs. Washington recently added Huawei to a list of companies that U.S. firms cannot trade with unless they have a license. The trade ban is part of a wider battle between the U.S. and Huawei. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
This is what we've waited for. The showdown. The fastest men in the world.
Hearts racing.
One light, two lights. They're backing off and backing.
Pulse rising.
Who will come out on top? Who'll take 3 lights, 4 lights. Who's ready to be the star?
The anticipation.
Powerful, strong, compact. Time, Tyson Gay right all the way. He's looking right.
The heart stops. Catch the sports game.
Mecca Dinas, my name, and the guys. Missy Mano, I am the top striker. Wisdom Obi Niles. My name is Gunnerman.
Dorcas Koki, the sports diva.
On Sports Attack, Mondays through Fridays, 7:30 a.m. And today's Sport Live, 3 to 4 p.m. And also on the weekends, 1 to 6 p.m. Only on your premium sports radio. Today, 95.1 FM.
I wanna take you away.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
They can. If you analyze the whole season, they have become third. From the start of the season, Champions League was the aim. He's got that in the third spot. They have had the League Cup final that they lost against Man City on penalties. They came really far in the FA Cup and they're in the UEFA Cup final. If they win the UEFA Cup final, I think it's a successful season for Chelsea. It's a start from where they came from. It's a big improvement. And now you need to improve again for next year. You need to be title contenders. I know that there are big problems with the transfer ban. But if they get a good outcome in that, you need to be title contenders for next year.
And of course, that was former Chelsea striker Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank ahead of tonight's game between Arsenal and Chelsea in the UEFA Europa League final. A very good afternoon and welcome to this Sport Live, reaching you live on Today95.1 FM right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. The big question is who wants it the most later tonight right there in Baku, Azerbaijan. Chelsea up against Arsenal. The last game right there for Peter Cech as a professional player, and perhaps it might be the last game also for Peter Cech, for Eden Hazard as a Chelsea player. My name is Emmanuel Chibuzo. I am the top striker this afternoon. The guys are very much in the building this afternoon. And of course, on the menu this afternoon, we have athletes protest on paid promises in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, and of course, the AFN president resigns. Not forgetting the Nigeria versus Ukraine game that comes up tomorrow and the 20 World Cup right there in Poland. Of course, we preview Europa League final between Arsenal and Chelsea tonight right there in Baku, Azerbaijan. Of course, I'm not alone this afternoon. The guys are very much in the mix this afternoon. Victoria, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Good afternoon to everyone listening. It's always great to be here.
I also have our Wisdom Obin in the building. Wisdom, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, top striker. Good afternoon to everyone in the studio. Of course, a lot of issues have been around this Europa League final, but finally it was not boycotted from what...
But now this. Anyways, it's great to be here. Good afternoon to everyone.
And of course, the program is highly interactive. Without you, we're not going to be here this afternoon. And of course, the program is interactive. For SMS and WhatsApp is 0701-9339-962. For SMS and WhatsApp is 0701-9339-962. On Twitter, you can tweet us at TodayFM951, at TodayFM951, or at Emeka Dena, or equally at Emmanuel90001, at Emmanuel90001, or at Emeka Dena, equally at TodayFM951. We shall be opening the phones at some point. Let's start the program from athletics this afternoon. On a sad note, where Bayelsa State athletes who won medals at the 18th National Sports Festival in Abuja last year have taken to the street in Yenagoa to protest unpaid rewards promised them by the state government months after returning from the fiesta. The protest, which started from the Samson Siasia Stadium to the government house, saw the athletes carrying different placards with different inscriptions, such as "You have done it before and you will do it again, sir. We need our reward, sir. Your Excellency, we wish to remind you of our much-awaited rewards from the 2018 Abuja National Sports Festival, amongst the others." Addressing the media on the development, the leader of the protest, Amas Daniel, who is a wrestler, said the reason behind the protest was not to ridicule the government, but to know the reason why the money had not been paid since they came back from Abuja last year.
We went for this 2018 National Sports Festival hosted in Abuja. And then when we came back, it was in the interval of 3 days, the governor called for a reception. When we came for the reception, he pronounced gold medalists to be awarded 1 million naira, and then silver 500 and bronze 300,000 naira. Coaches 500 also. It's 5 months now. It was 2 months past when the commissioner of sports and the director told us that governor has given approval. And it's up to 5 months now. We have not seen anything.
And of course, captain of the Bayelsa State Festival football team, Okolai Raphael and Nelson Kemebo, explained that several months after the promise that they are yet to receive the money.
And when we came back as Bayelsa athletes, our amiable governor promised us award money. Gold medalists, according to him, will go home with 1 million naira. Silver medalists, 500,000 naira each. Bronze medalists, 300,000 naira each. And then those that went and competed but did not win anything will be going home with 150,000 naira each.
From that December up till now, we have not been hearing anything. Even we went to the commissioner. The commissioner told us that he has been talking to the commissioner of finance pertaining the money, but he has not heard any reply.
Reacting to the development, the Chief of Staff of Government House, Mr. Talford Ongolo, urged the athletes to be patient, stressing that they will receive their rewards soon. On his part, Commissioner of Sports Development, Mr. Perekie Buruboyefe, assured the athletes that something positive would be done soon.
I sympathize with them. On the other hand, I also know what government is going through. They don't want to pay, but things are for now pretty difficult, and that has caused the delay. So it's kind of, well, good. Not we have just agreed on something today. By God's grace, when the governor returns from Orua today, I believe there will be a positive response.
The state government had pledged to reward the athletes 1 million naira for each gold medal, 100,000 naira for each silver medal, 700,000 naira for each silver medal, while each bronze medalist was promised 300,000 naira. Team Bayelsa finished fifth at the National Sports Festival with a total of 32 gold, 56 silver, and 49 bronze medals. Emeka, we said Christmas was sure for these athletes when they came back and the news of the money came out. And another Christmas will soon come upon us. And it's so shameful, but I don't know what you make about this development.
But it's not something new in the country. Just 2 days ago, or yesterday, we were talking about Clemens Westerhoff.
Exactly.
Getting a house promise made by the federal government 25 years ago. Eventually happened on Monday. Babatunde Raji Fashola, Minister for Power, then Minister for Power and Works and Housing, eventually gave keys to the apartment to him and all that. 25 years. Now, these athletes are not supposed to wait that long. Some of them would have stopped sports by then. It doesn't have to get that longer. They were there in Abuja 2018, December. I was there for the National Sports Festival as well. Come on, they did well. Bayelsa State is the smallest state in this country. 8 local government areas. They were able to garner no fewer than 30 gold medals, 56 silver medals in the process. I mean, we know them for wrestling, their prowess right there. Amas Daniel is a 6-time African wrestling champion, the captain, the overall captain of Team Bayelsa, 6-time African champion. Come on, they have done quite well for the state. They came back. On your own as governor, you called them to a reception. They didn't ask you for money. They were paid their allowances, even though it took time. They didn't ask you for anything. You called them, come, let me host you, for doing the state proud. I mean, if you're an amiable governor, like one of them said about the governor, you should be able to keep to your promises. I mean, nobody asked you to. These monies are just promises made by the state governor to the athletes. So why allow it to linger for that long? Come on, by November there will be election in Bayelsa State. The governor will be handing over early next year, and it could just be the end of those promises. So these athletes have gone to the streets yesterday. Top striker is disheartening, to say the least. It's the same thing here in Port Harcourt. Remember, about 3 weeks ago, we played the interview, the inset of Governor Nyesom Wike.
Exactly.
When he hosted members of Goran FC, their coaches and officials, last year here in Port Harcourt, when they won promotion to the MPFL. Now, they have even exited the MPFL. Those promises have not been kept. Come on, how you even think come give them the money again, because they're no longer in the MPFL. And then they're talking about Goran. I mean, the case of Bayelsa is I have a lot of friends there. Top striker. When I heard that the governor was going to give 1 million, I started calling them. Oh boy, come, you go find me something. Each time I call them, they never give us the money. Each time I call them, it's affecting me too. My friends are there. The athletes are there. The coaches, they are all my friends. I worked there for 3 years. I still have a good relationship with them. The president of the Wrestling Federation stays there. I usually go to Yenegoa. I have a lot of friends there. This man,
you also have vested interest.
Yes. Sometimes if you touch their body, you go touch me.
You too.
Oh boy, take this 20k, take this 10k. Imagine where I must get 1 million naira. No, I know, give me 20,000 naira. At least. I don't say a lot of people go come, but come on. No. Let nobody do this there. She won't go to. I mean, it's shameful. Not just because of my interest. Come on, it's shameful. Let's not. I'm just joking about it. I mean, it's a serious stuff. This government officials, they go out there, make promises that they're not willing to fulfill, in the nearest future, and it's not good for us. When they made those promises, the whole country carried the news. They're like, hey, congratulations, and we're even blaming Governor Wike here. You haven't even made promises. See, Bayelsa promised to do this. Okowa, it took him another 2-3 months before he was able to fulfill that of Delta State after making those promises and others. So we shouldn't be doing this. If you're not ready to fulfill those promises, don't even mention them in the first place.
Reliance, was this protest necessary, considering that it was a promise, not an entitlement?
Well, was it necessary? That's a tough question. The thing is, they were made a promise to, and the promise have not been fulfilled. Anyhow, they decide to make their grievances known to the government and the public, they will choose to. For them to choose to use a form of a protest is their decision. Is their decision
peaceful
to decide.
Protest.
Yeah, peaceful
Exactly.
protest.
Just a reminder.
Yeah,
you have done it before. You can do it again.
Yeah, so, so it is for them to decide how they will make it, or how they will make the reminder, whether through a protest or maybe a written letter or anything. But the thing is, they need to make it known. They need to place that reminder. It's been 5 months as it has been stated, so it is their choice to choose. But we keep having these issues often and I keep asking myself, when are we going to get done with this?
In other words, a promise is a debt. Quickly, wisdom. Why make these promises when you don't have the wherewithal to fulfill it in the nearest future?
You just brought the question out of my mind, and it's good. Let me try to answer. I think first, everything in this country is seen as a political campaign. Everything is seen as an opportunity to tell the people that you're a good person, you're magnanimous, to show your magnanimity to the people, and it doesn't make too much sense. Now, it's not the first time. Now, Mecca just pointed out the one of Governor Ifeanyi of Delta State. Yes, he fulfilled it. But if it could take you 2 to 3 months to fulfill a promise you made so easily, you now start asking yourself, why do they make these promises? Why do they, if you know your capacity, you don't have that kind of money to spare? As we have established earlier, they've gotten the allowances, that is participating in the tournament. There was no point for you in quote, the happiness and joy of the moment, making promises that you're not able to fulfill. So I think sometimes administrators, in quote, from the governors down to those who have opportunities to do some of these things, yes, as much as you can, you would want to do something for your athletes. I'm sure if it was 100,000, it might have been easy to fulfill, but you don't say what if you now calculate the amount total.
Yeah,
the government
list 31 of them, 31 gold medals.
That's 1 million naira
outside
the bronze and the silver medal.
Calculate it.
So they make these promises before they now use their tongue to count their teeth. So I think for me, we should try our best most times as administrators. You don't make promises that, at least make the one you can carry, or you can just forget about making these promises.
So, Striker, for me, look, we saw the governor of Delta State. He made these promises to the athletes before they went for the National Sports Festival. We said, okay, maybe it's a source of motivation to the athletes. Mm-hmm. Now, in this situation, it wasn't before. It was after.
They had won.
So there was more. What are you motivating them for? So we really cannot say.
This was like a reward.
Exactly.
I just think it's the moment. That moment then when everybody was around, just wanted.
Look at the case of Bayelsa Queens. Those girls won the title for the first time in over a decade. They came back and the reception was organized hurriedly for them, and they eventually presented the trophy to the governor, who was at the point marking his birthday, and he there and then said 22 million naira bulk cash this week. Bulk cash. That money has not been released.
Over now to athletics. Other matters making the rounds, where President of Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, Shehu Ibrahim Guzo, yesterday resigned his position with immediate effect after board members accused him of intimidation, gross misconduct, and misappropriation of funds in a petition filed against him yesterday at the Ministry of Youth and Sport in Abuja. The petition, made public to newsmen and signed by most of the AFN board members, urged the outgoing Minister of Sports, Solomon Dalong, to take action against Guzo, who has been president since June 2017, on the basis of the allegations contained in the letter. However, it is not clear if Dalong played any part in Guzo's decision to resign, having relinquished his position as minister following the expiration of his appointment on Tuesday, 28th of May 2019. Guzo's misdeeds, according to the petition, include unilaterally appropriating funds without the approval of the board for athletic meets, including the African Athletics Championship in Asaba last August and the African Under-18 and Under-20 Athletics Championship in Abidjan in April of this year. Guzo, a former member of the Federal House of Representatives, was alleged to have single-handedly selected teams and procured kits for international competitions, including the Asaba Championship and the Youth Olympics in Argentina. Other allegations refer to him requesting for funds from Sports Ministry while keeping the board in the dark, as well as operating a calendar of programs for the year without the backing of the board. In an earlier development, 7 out of 12 board members of the AFN impeached Guzo in the office of the Sports Minister, Solomon Dalong, in Abuja yesterday. One of the board members, Brown Ebewere, they call him Jujuman, told the newsmen shortly after the meeting that they decided to sweep Guzo aside to enable the board to carry out proper investigation into the circumstances surrounding the missing IAAF money. And of course, Rebecca, let me start with you. Is this a right move?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the right move or not. But the thing is this, one of the provisions of the Federation's constitution is that, the board members have the right to, impeach the president if, he's not doing well, so to say, and we have seen the, controversies, the issues emanating from the Athletics Federation of Nigeria over the past 2 years now. When the IWF monies, were sent $150,000 erroneously, it was supposed to be $20,000, and even as we speak right now, we don't have confirmation that those monies have been refunded. The excesses of those monies have been refunded. The case of Asaba, the Athletics Championship there, and one of the allegations against him is that he procured those kits with the IWF monies without the consent of the board and all that. So his impeachment might not be unconnected with the missing money and all that. But come on, it is in the place of the board to do what they did. So if you look at it from outside, you want to say whether it is right or wrong, depending on which side of the divide you are. But this is a man who has a 4-year mandate, got elected in June 2017, just less than 2 years into office, and he's been impeached. And we also hear that he was forced to actually resign, as a matter of fact, as a phase 7 measure after the impeachment proceedings and what have you. And I mean, it's a mess. It's just a mess. They rot in our sports, especially athletics these days. Look at what has happened in athletics in the past 2 weeks.
Wisdom, I'm trying to see something in between the line. The impeachment was done in the minister's office, and they are trying to pin the $135 million now on him. $1,000 on him. I don't know if you are seeing what I'm seeing. Perhaps the minister accepted to pay 50% of that money. What if we are hearing one side of the story and you want to hang this money on Guzo at this time?
Well, it's quite clear, Top Striker, that we are not hearing every part of the matter. That's the simple truth. Now, we've seen a lot of stories come out of this one. Early on, the minister said he's willing to pay 50% of the money, making us feel, of course, that means you knew everything about this money for you to decide to pay 50%. At some point last week, the minister also came out to talk about the fact that he actually gave this money, to so person, that's Ibrahim Gusau now, to procure some kits as much as the under 18 and under 20 African, on junior championship. So you start
he said he gave the minister, the AFM president.
Yes, he agreed that he disbursed some part to the AFM. That's how the money was shared. Now,
so how come they are not saying he went to procure these kits without permission?
No. The problem is that there is no synergy. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to deduce. There is no synergy with the board members, between the board members and maybe the sports minister. Of course, we know that he's not the Minister of Athletics. He's the Minister of Sports in the country. This includes the Football Federation, the Wrestling Federation, the Athletics Federation, as the case may be. So, of course, there should be one representative. He cannot deal with the body, with each member directly. That's the simple truth. So maybe he works with the figureheads. Of course, in football now, he definitely will be working with Amaju Pinnick. The Wrestling Federation, he works with Daniel Igali. And, of course, for the Athletics Federation, he works with Ibrahim Guzo. And that's the problem. Now, when this money now, according to what the minister was saying, was given to Ibrahim Gusau, the problem with the board members is that he did not meet them to even discuss this money. They knew nothing about this money, and that's why, of course, they are getting angry to say, okay, if it's on us now, we don't know how this money was even spent. We don't even know how you procured the kits, and even if you procured it, if you spent all the money on procurement. So I think it's not a thing of it's a thing of the ministry, getting to be angry with their president. As I said, this might not have too much. Dalong on his own is fighting, of course, to clear his name. As I said, he's not the president of all the for Athletics Federation. He's president of all the federations in Nigeria, be it wrestling, be it football, as the case may be. So of course he deals with just this figurehead. That's talking about the AFM president. So I'm sure that's why the members are not aware. Maybe he gave the money directly to Gusau. Then of course he didn't allow his board members to know about it, and that's why they're trying to also find a way to tell the world that we were not aware of this money, and that's why we are impeaching him.
Victor, are we ever going to have a time in our sports where we'll not have so many dramas? As we speak right now, Basketball Federation still have 2 presidents. Are we ever going to come to a point where we'll not have drama in our football?
I think that's what makes Nigeria unique, the drama. But the truth be told, I don't think we'll come to that point anytime soon. We would eventually get there, maybe in a decade time, but the way I see it, before we get to a point where there is no drama, it's almost impossible because the issue we always talk about is you bring in politicking, you bring in basically politicking into business, into sports. It affects it, and that's the main reason. For me, what I'm seeing here is it's more political than we think it is. So that until then, really, it's going to take quite a while before we eventually see if is sports free of politics and all the games and every other thing.
Reliance, certainly, it's obvious we've not heard the last of this matter from the.
Yeah, from the look of things, and even the technical director of AFN, who wasn't part of the board members who signed that petition, asked a question. Let me quote him directly. He said, "I want Nigerians to also ask why the sport minister is paying 50% of the money to IAAF when he had declared that he didn't know how the money was spent. Who is fooling who?" End of quote. So there are so many things about it. Even when the man who led the impeachment, talking about he made mention of a member of the board that's in the UK. He didn't sign part of it. He said so many things about it. He even got to the point where he said that the IAAF money has been that the Minister of Sport have reached an agreement with the IAAF. That's why Nigeria is no longer going to be sanctioned. So when you look at the whole matters from all angles, it indicates that there's no clear-cut agreement whatsoever. There's no point of settlement either from the IAAF, who they themselves are also divided in this particular issue, or I beg your pardon, either from the AFN, who they themselves are also divided for this particular issue, or from the IAAF. So until probably maybe the sport minister comes out make a statement, or IAAF comes out make a statement, we can't be certain of what is happening. But at least we know one thing, that the man has resigned.
Why would they ban us? What have we done wrong? Did we ask them to send us money? Did we steal their money?
You famous quote from the one and only Solomon Dalong. I mean, you have so many of such quotes there. He is no longer the Minister of Sports.
Certainly, yeah.
His tenure ended yesterday. Hopefully, we don't have another minister like him, or hopefully he doesn't return. I mean, he's just a square peg in a round hole, to say the least. He is not the sports minister that is supposed to take our sports to the next level, full of controversies. In his administration, we have 2 Rugby Federation presidents, 2 NFF presidents,
basketball
Federation presidents. You know, look at
2 good heads better than 1.
So many problems. And he does little to settle these problems, as a matter of fact. And come on, his outbursts most times are just out of the hook, and not supposed to be coming from a high-ranking sports administrator like that. Luckily, his tenure is over. Hopefully, he doesn't come back again. Solomon Dalong, I mean, no. One of the worst sports ministers we've ever had in this country.
I picked that line. Hopefully, he doesn't come back again. Over now to football. Yes, from the home front, under 20 World Cup, Nigeria will be up against Ukraine tomorrow. Of course, the Nigeria lost the last game against the USA 2-0. Haven't won their first game against Qatar by 4-0. Wisdom, what is your impression on the team ahead of this game? Haven't lost the last game against the USA.
Well, first, top striker, the last game, was quite a surprise for me. The results didn't really go as I thought it would, even if I knew the USA were going to be a very, very strong opposition, profiling the young stars they had in their setup. And of course, with the analysis talking about the fact that the United States team is the best the team has ever presented in years in terms of the youth championships. So I think for me, the Nigerian team had a lot of issues that day, and it could range from tactics, which I think is the first point of call. I could recall Paul Aigbogun speaking after that game, talking about the reason why he took out Tom Dele Bashiru in the 31st minute. He talked about the fact that the tactics, he now saw that the USA were penetrating that position because he played Tom Dele Bashiru in an offensive position, which he was not supposed to. I mean, which coach gives that kind of excuse? It means you were not tactically spot on. The United States used that link to actually get the first goal, and he did that quick substitution. Was the other coach going to be blind looking at you make a change, bringing in Anyeke Meokun, who did fantastically well? I would say was even for me the best player in that game. So I think for me, top striker, the tactical issues actually worked against us in that game. We have a very, very decent side. Some people call it that is the worst under 20 team. I don't think so. They have some young stars who are pretty talented. I've seen this team in